Yo, let me say this. I'm really terrified about what the is about to go down because I got 3 people up here, including myself, who are not afraid to have serious conversations. So one more time, Amber Rose, Ray J, and Nene Leakes.
Yo.
So listen, we wanted to have a conversation about cancel culture because when I look at what's happening, especially like in the montage of videos, it seems like cancel culture is applied disparately, whether it's with black people versus white people or men versus women. So the first question I ask to any of you is cancel culture a real thing?
It's real. I think it's a real thing.
I don't necessarily believe in cancel culture as far as things that people say, because I do believe that you are able to redeem yourself. I believe that you can have conversations with people and they can tell you, hey, what you said was ignorant, maybe you should look at it this way, and you can always just change your mind and redeem yourself. So I don't think people should get canceled just off of the words that they say.
But Nene, you said, Ray J wants you. Ray J's recently single, and I don't know what this energy is giving. But look, Nene, you said you think cancel culture is a real thing.
I do think cancel culture is a real thing because we've obviously seen people become canceled just by a lot of comments that people are making on social media. So I do believe it's a real thing.
So when we were backstage, we were talking about cancel culture versus blacklisting because you went through a very public thing. Everybody knows Nene Leakes is the reason why Real Housewives of Atlanta is a real show. And I'll be the first person to say, I ain't watched that since she left the show. But we were having a conversation, Nene, we were having a conversation that when I thought it was cancel culture, you said it was blacklisting because once you said the network was being racist, they went on this silent attack, but I thought it was public, maybe because I'm on Hollywood Unlocked. But explain what you thought the difference between cancel culture and blacklisting.
Well, I didn't say that the network was being racist. What I said was what I said. And you know
I said what I said.
I didn't actually say that.
What did you say?
The very first comment I posted on social media said, this is what happens when a racist and a cokehead get together. So there were no names in that, but that is what there were no names in that. I said that. That's what I posted. That's what I posted, okay?
Can we get a fan?
I personally think that what I was explaining to Jason was that I think cancel culture and blacklisting are 2 different things. Although they're cousins and twins, they operate differently. I don't feel like I've ever been a part of the cancel culture. I mean, you guys see me every day up and down social media with all these fabulous memes, don't you? I don't feel like I was ever canceled. I'm very much here.
And here to stay.
Very much.
But we want her back on Real Housewives of Atlanta too, right? Okay. Well, start your own show. Ray J. Ray J, this is the first time I've ever been in a live conversation with Ray J, and I gotta ask him some questions that some of you are probably thinking. Ray J is a technology leader with Raycon. He is a singer, songwriter, reality star, producer.
Thank you, Jason.
And he's a real in the streets pushing culture. But he also did a sex tape with Kim Kardashian that's now all over social media, so I gotta ask you a question.
Oh, wait, what happened? It's loud and then they ain't got the ear. We need a fan.
Listen, okay,
where the Beyonce fan?
My bad.
We need one right here.
My bad. Let me slow it down for you in case you haven't been on social media. You were in a sex tape with a woman who you're now publicly in a debate with her mother over whether or not she had y'all reshoot it and sell it together. I'm just trying to summarize it for those of you who may be sleeping. But the thing that I found interesting about the whole situation, how it plays out on Black Twitter and online, is how sometimes our people are quick to jump behind the mainstream narrative and go against the black man who's going against a machine instead of understanding that you might have been used as part of a process. How have you been digesting what people have been saying online in your quest to clear your name against the probably most powerful family on social media?
Well, I really don't pay attention to what they're saying online because at this point, at this age I am, and when I was younger, I just had 2 different perspectives on life. I got a daughter, she's 4 years old. I got a son, he's 2 years old. So I want them to know me for who I really am. Like, I can't have them growing up thinking that I did something to somebody that was totally not true, like that hurts me more than anything. Right when I think about that, that's when I went live. Against all odds, right? Like people calling me, telling me this and that to do. I'm like, dog, I'm fighting for my kids to know who I really am. I don't give a what you talking about. Like I have to fight for my family. Why am I doing it now? Why am I doing it now? Why am I doing it now? Why am I doing it now, Jason?
I think you're doing it now because you have kind of allowed the narrative to be painted.
No.
Oh, for your kids?
No, because they start talking about it on Hulu. Kris Jenner took a lie detector test and said no. I don't even want to dwell on this all night because it's so much other things that we can try to give you from our experiences, but I tell you this, if you don't stand for your family, you ain't.
Give it up for that.
And what's crazy is that all I think about is my kids. So like the applause or the like pound or anything, like when I think about my kids, if nobody gave me none of that, as long as the truth come out eventually through my mission, then God is good, you know what I'm saying? And that's all I can say. But it's a lot more we can explain and talk about, but I'm going through it right now.
We can do that in court, because we're gonna be watching.
Yeah, exactly. I ain't doing no more interviews and about it.
All right, so Amber, you are a big advocate for women. I remember when she just unblocked me on Instagram the other day, so we're now friends on social media. But
I blocked you like 6 years ago.
yeah, but we've worked past it.
We did.
But the thing that I loved about our relationship is it came through me understanding you standing for the walk and standing for women who were ashamed.
I love
and a lot of women who and a lot of women often get canceled for expressing themselves. Why was it important for you to stand for women and to take the public beatings that you have for doing so?
What was the last part you said, Jason?
And take the public beatings or the public lashings for standing up for women.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like I was one of the first to like get a lot of punches as far as just being sex positive, body positive, coming out with a walk. I mean, a lot of people frowned upon that because they didn't understand it, which is a very simple Google.
What's that?
Right. Yeah, but walk is about rape culture, sexual violence, standing up for women. And I'm okay to take all the punches. You know, for me, it's nothing. I'm good with that. Thank you.
And this was pre-OnlyFans days. Now, if you don't have an OnlyFans, you're not even popping, right? I lost all this weight. I might get one, so I'll take the tutorial. Not really. All right, so listen, Nene, you said you think cancel culture is real. I've always said, when I look online, the times that people are trying to cancel me is typically black people. I never really see white people on my social media saying, cancel him, cancel. I see our people doing the work of the devil. You could decide who the devil is. I say the devil is mainstream. What do you think the origin of cancel culture is, and why do we push it so hard?
Why did I think what? I'm sorry?
The origin of cancel culture, where do you believe it's from, and why do we sometimes push it so hard?
I think that it's from the culture. It's simply from the culture. I feel like as a culture, if we supported each other more, there's nothing that could happen to us. We can't be canceled. You know, the culture has to support
the facts. Support the facts.
Speak on it. Well, the reason why I asked that is because when you think about the words cancel culture, it's canceling culture.
Yes.
It's canceling culture because if you think about back in 1987 when Eddie Murphy did the stand-up comic show Raw, he said, as a gay man, I didn't feel offended by that because I was saying too. It was funny. Then Dave Chappelle years later does a stand-up and everybody wanted to cancel him because they said he was being anti-trans.
Well, it's called snowflakes. They call them snowflakes now.
What is that?
Like a snowflake is somebody on social media, if you're like, I like oranges, and they're like, well, what about bananas? You don't like bananas? What's wrong with bananas? Like, you feel some type of way about bananas? So they're called snowflakes when everything is just so sensitive, and like now comedians can't even joke anymore.
But how do we stop the snowflake from turning into a snowball, Ray J? How do we stop the snowflakes in the comments from spiraling into something that makes us feel in our mind that we're gonna lose everything?
The culture has to support. It's the culture. The culture has to support the culture.
Yep. But why doesn't the culture stand up? And I'll give you a good example. Recently, Tiffany Haddish, friend of mine, friend of ours, was recently in a big public thing where she was a part of a skit that was trash. And then they turned that narrative into something way different. And then 2 weeks later, the family said, oh, nothing happened. But there were so many people wanting to vilify her for that and wanted her to lose everything. Why do you think we become the biggest predator in that attack against our own?
I feel like it was a machine behind that. I don't think that something that happened so many years ago would just come back now and haunt her in this way. I just feel like there was a machine behind that happening to her. It is. And I recently saw where she said that all of her job opportunities had gone away and she didn't have any more jobs right now at the moment. That, to me, just felt like a machine is behind that, that's leading that. Once again, if the culture supported her, she wouldn't be in that situation.
And
So
also,
how do
like,
they
they need, I'm
No,
sorry,
I would
Ray
never
J.
enter. No, please, Amber.
Thank you. I also think that people need to give people an opportunity. Like, not when they just first hear a story to react to it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should have just waited to see how it all ended or how it all came out before, you know, you start talking about it, because people hear one thing and then it's like canceled, or she did this and I know she did that and blah, blah, blah. So I think we need to just give it a beat and just wait a moment and then try to find out exactly what's going on.
So when I was preparing for today, I was gonna ask this question of the women on the stage, but since Ray's here, and I just remember you did the song where you said you hit it first. The Baby just came out with a song where he said he slept with Megan Thee Stallion. Megan is in a whole relationship. I kind of felt that that was tasteless for him to do that. And maybe there was no real reason behind that because he was canceled for the age jokes.
Got it.
Do you think that it's okay that we live in a world where a rapper can say something negative towards the LGBT community and be canceled, but not against a woman?
You know what? I'm happy you said that, Jason. You made a good point. All right. I'm happy you made that point, and I'm happy Miss Amber sit here, because I Hit It First was a celebration song. I never said nothing negative. I stated facts, and we was having fun. As crazy as that sounds. There's another song that another rapper did that I heard, and I think that he had something slick to say about you and all this stuff back in the day, and it was...
Who? Oh, he's saying Kanye West, sorry. They're having a conference.
All right, I don't know who he was talking about, but came out 50 times in the song. You this, you and it was popping in the club. So I'm trying to understand, how does one song that's on the surface is like the worst in the world, but then a song that really has the substance of negativity and disrespect, that's all good. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating facts. I don't know. I don't have the answer, Jason.
Do you think cancel?
But some people, I feel like some people feel more comfortable when a song is about a woman. And that's the thing, especially with my talk and shaming and being a former slut shamer. I used to call women all the time when I was young, because that's just all I knew. But in society, they just, if a rapper talks about a woman, it's just like, well, she probably is. There's no question. There's no like, well,
There's
maybe
no
she's an actual good person. It just doesn't, it's almost like they just throw women away like we're less than human. And that's really why I became a feminist and I fight for women, because it really is toxic and disgusting what these men do to us.
So Nene, let me ask you a question. I was somebody very vocal online that I felt the hashtag protect black women wasn't a real thing. It only applied, like he was saying, to this person, but not this person. Why do you believe the black woman is the most attacked species in the world, and why are people not angry when you are attacked?
I don't
Y'all can
know.
clap for that, black women.
You know
Or
what?
not.
I think every woman in this world deserves $1 million. Just that, and that's low. Because listen, I watch my wife have my babies, right? And I cried right there on the spot. I didn't even know I could cry like that, because it was something magical, something spiritual, and the things that she was going through when she was having a baby was something that nobody can explain. So how do we find ourselves going so disrespectful and then at no point catching yourself? Because you can be young and turned up and live that kind of life, but eventually as you go into your new phases of life, you gotta grow. You gotta look at yourself like, okay, that was me then, here's me now. Like, I got kids now. I don't have the same low morale I had when I was 22. Like, it's at an all-time high of respect and love to women and everybody. So that's why I don't wanna be put in this position like that, cause it's wrong. It's wrong all the way around the board. Women are everything. I love my mama.
Well,
I love my sister. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was said many, many years ago, and I think maybe back in slavery, that black women do not feel any pain, or black women are painless. And I just feel like that has just translated all the way to here, to now. That couldn't be further from the truth, though.
So when you look at, you know, when there are situations in social media like Tory Lanez alleged shooting with Megan and his involvement, and the immediate cancellation before we have our chance in court, does the court of public opinion now have precedent when it comes to canceling a person versus the courthouse?
That's interesting.
And I'll give you another
What'd
example.
you say?
I just personally feel like, okay, let's say the baby, for example, right? He said something about AIDS, right? That was definitely pertaining to the gay community. But then he continues to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Like, he's not learning. And I think that's what I was saying initially in this conversation. It's like, if you make a mistake, have conversations with people and find out why you spoke so ignorantly. But if you're continuing the same type of behavior, at some point, I mean, I don't think anyone should necessarily be canceled, but for me, I'm not into that. Like, I would never listen to his music because of that, and I'm a feminist, so what he just said about Megan was just in really, really poor taste, knowing she's in a relationship. Whatever they did before, if it's true or not, it's just, it's just, if you like a real man and you really get it like that, you're not finna talk about it like that. You just not. Like,
All right.
That's corny.
I'm sorry
I
for
don't
making
like
I hit
that.
it first. I really am. I ain't gonna make no more songs like that.
I
ain't
mean,
gonna
Ray
make no
J,
more
also
songs like
you were. I get that you were young, but at the same time, again, if you redeem yourself and you realize, you know what, maybe that was in poor taste, and I'm not going to do that anymore, then you're changing and growing as a person.
And I will
That's
say
what
that is the difference, because in our private conversations, even before we came here, I asked Ray, I said, you know, where do you feel comfortable going with this? And what he said was, I want to be very clear. I'm a black man fighting for my children, understanding who their father is. And I think
just
that's
fighting
the
for my
distinct
truth.
difference.
I just want to live in my truth. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't. Whatever happens on the other side or whatever, just give me my truth. And if everybody can continue to make money, fine. I don't care. I just want a clean slate. And I do love in hip hop every season, because every time I watch myself back each season, like the first few seasons, I was horrible. I was doing some bad things. And people can tell you to change, or they see what you're doing, but when you can watch yourself and the stuff that I was doing, I was ashamed of myself. So every year I just started to get better and better, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing the show, because I keep making adjustments every year, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes people fall by the wayside, but if your main intention is to do better, get better, listen more, hear more, and actually have the heart to say I'm sorry, or I messed up, you know what I'm saying? And if I cursed and there's any kids in here, I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry, kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
See?
But I'm gonna keep cussing.
From the heart.
But I'm gonna keep cussing.
Oh, you was
because-
cursing too?
No, well, yeah.
I'm
But
sorry.
you know, here's the question. Here's the question, right? Because when they say be ourselves, I asked them backstage, I'm like, this ain't really my house. I'm just kind of chilling in it today. Can I go, what do you want me to say or do? They were like, go out there and be you. I'm like, okay, I'll probably get canceled after this. They said, no, you're not gonna get canceled. Nene, you've had a lot of, and I hate using these terms, but for the sake of the audience watching, because a lot of us know culture, we know hip hop, but you've had a lot of mainstream success. They've said mainstream is when you cross over and white people accept you. But knowing you privately, you're the same person in front of me, Amber Ray, and white people. Why do you think that there's such a need for validation by a lot of our people by mainstream? Not that that was your case, because I do feel like there are a lot of us that until we're validated by E! News or Entertainment Tonight, we don't feel like we made it. You're not one of those, but why do you feel like maybe some of your black counterparts are?
I just
Nene,
think...
let me get from Nene real quick.
I'm sorry, Nene. See, I'm very apologetic.
I honestly don't have an answer. I really don't know. I don't know why that is, honestly.
But have you ever felt in the rooms you've been in with NBC and all those people that you needed to be anything different than who you were at the core of you for them to accept you or embrace you?
No, I've never personally felt that way, but there have been many people that said they have felt that way. I personally have not. Everywhere I go, I just be myself. Now, whether you like it or not, this is just who I am.
When you were on the show, why do you feel like some of the other black women on the show were afraid to stand behind you publicly in fighting for them? Because you weren't just fighting for you, you were fighting for all of you.
Exactly. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah.
The same thing that Amber said. I was fighting for all of us, not for myself, for everyone. And I feel a lot of them didn't stand up or support me in my fight because they were afraid that they would be in the same situation that I was in. They wanted to be able to continue to work.
But that's okay. Half of them should have been.
But what they didn't know, that if we all stuck together, we would be so much more further. And I wouldn't even be in this situation. But and again, sometimes I think it's competitiveness too. I feel like they get competitive and they're like, I'm not gonna support you. You know what I mean?
So both her and Amber have been talking about sticking together. For all of you out here who are artists, creators, brands, thinking about advancing your businesses, wanting to get out there, wanting to navigate through the world of cancel culture, that's why we're having this conversation. I want to bring up a person that all of you know, that all of you have celebrated, that we all know is Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is on a show called The View. It's the only reason why I watch The View. She's the only View that I care about. She's not here today, sorry. Everybody's like, wait.
It
She about to come out?
It sounded like you were about to bring her out.
Okay, everybody welcome Whoopi Goldberg. No, I'm just playing. No. But she was canceled this year. You know, they gave her a 2-week suspension. They treated her like no disrespect to the people on the fish fry at the flea market, but they treated her like somebody who was not a boss, a real big figure in our culture. And this was at the same time Joe Rogan was saying they gave him a $200 million raise. Why did we not stand behind Whoopi Goldberg? Is it that we're afraid of losing our own? Because Ray was recently on Charlemagne's show, and there was a phone call that edited a lot of his out that he wanted to get off that I learned about before I got here, and that's that machine we talk about. Why were we too afraid to stand behind Whoopi?
I stand behind Whoopi. I'll stand behind her like all the time. Like when I listen to these stories of everybody, like your situation, my situation, her situation, like it's so relatable, right? To the point where we can't cry over it because there's really not a lot we can do about that. But if you just keep pushing the narrative forward, if you got an agenda and they try to quiet you, you got to get louder. If they try to push you to the left, you got to go to the right. If they try to take you from the right, you got to go live. You get what I'm saying? Because when the people get it, it's a whole different thing. Like if I tell my lawyers I got all this stuff, he like, I don't think you got nothing. And then I go live and then the people like, you gave everything away. And I'm like, that was the appetizer, right? Then the people, as long as you got the people's opinion, you have power. So you got to get to the people, I think, more than trying to get to the people in power. The people are the power. The people in power get silenced when the real people get louder. That's it. So I'm going on a campaign. You know what I'm saying? I'm going on a campaign.
We all there with him, right? Is everybody there with Ray J on this campaign?
No, I'm just saying, like, and I promise you, like, I will make sure I do better and better every day. If I make a mistake, I'll make some adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be afraid to make the mistake and learn from it. You know what I'm saying? We all make mistakes. When you make a mistake, like the Charlemagne interview, I'm like, I made a mistake. You know what? I'm not doing no more interviews. That I learned a lesson from that, right? And I'm gonna just do it another way. So I just feel like making adjustments every time you might slip by the wayside and you don't do that again, you just get better and better and better and better and better.
I love that. Give him a round of applause. So I recently posted on Instagram that cancel culture lives in the minds of black people, but the control of cancel culture lives in the hands of mainstream. Do you believe that to be true or not? And why? You want me to say it again?
Yeah, say it again. I need some lotion.
Somebody get Ray J some lotion, please. I said recently on Instagram that cancel culture lives in the minds of black people, but the control of cancel culture lives in the hands of mainstream. So like, we're too afraid to say what the culture needs to hear because we might lose that Sprite contract. We're too afraid to come out and say, Nene Leakes needs to be back on Housewives of Atlanta, or we're not watching that anymore because Candy's storyline is tired as and I'm over it. because there's a repercussion for saying what the needs to be said. Do you believe that to be true?
Very true.
I just feel like as women we're already a marginalized group, and then you have black women, which is extremely marginalized. And I feel like, you know, black women, we all need, I'm biracial. I have a black mom and a white dad. And as a culture, we need to all stick together, especially as women. I cannot stress that enough, because if we really all came together and was like, we are not watching Housewives at all, you better believe they will put her on there in 5 seconds. But the problem is that you go to Black Twitter, and everybody is canceling, everybody's cracking jokes, everybody's not standing up for each other. And it just gets to the point where it's like, you know, we need to really band together and really help each other.
Were you gonna say something, Nene?
No, I wasn't. I was gonna leave that one alone.
I could say so much about all of that. Like it's crazy. Like
when you were going live from Dominican Republic, there was 50,000 people, including me, saying, "Go, go, go! Read them for filth. Go!" Do you feel like you were validating your own voice needing to be heard? Because for a long time you've been very silent. I'm not even just talking about that. I'm talking about it just in general. You just haven't really defended yourself. Was that a breakthrough of freedom for you? Because it felt like a release and you finally feeling comfortable to just be honest.
it was surreal, man. And I swear, I was just speaking to my kids when they get older. Like, I'm speaking to them my truth, right? I don't really feel the need to like prove myself to the world, right? It'll just happen, or the people that support you. But my kids is when everything started to change. It's like, my kids gotta know the truth, right? You don't have to give me no money. I'd rather take the apology. You get what I'm saying? I'm good, right? But I like when I called you on the phone, and I'm like, yo, Jay, I gave everybody the facts. Where everybody at? Like, if Black Lives Matter, I'm black, you know what I'm saying? If everybody going through stuff, me too, where me too at, right? I'm frustrated because I'm like, I feel like I did my part. And if I didn't do enough, then I'll keep going. But I think everybody feels this way sometimes, and we want to yell it out. We want everybody to support us. And how do people know when to support us? Like, when do you know exactly when to press the button? Is it when we give you hard facts, undeniable facts, or is it that you know but you looking the other way? Like, how does it go?
By looking at social media, I think it's when you lose everything, because we love to see everybody lose everything, so we can then get behind them to cheerlead them on. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, they build us up to tear us down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's entertainment.
It's entertaining. Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask Ray one more question. Ray, so you've recently, a couple times, been pictured with Trump. A lot of people in here may not like Trump. What gives you the confidence to take a picture with Trump and not feel like you'll get canceled by the culture, and you do it anyway? Well,
I mean, if you listen to a lot of people all over the world, or even in America, like, public school education is bad, right? We're not getting the right education. We don't have the right teachers. We're not paying the teachers the right way. And so my agenda was focused on that. My second time was making sure Kodak got in the room because Trump had pardoned him. And so, you know, out of love, pull up. And what happened was, you saw the 40th police commissioner give Kodak so much love, tell everybody how he paid for police officers' funerals. And he did all of these great things that I didn't even know about, right? And it gave him another light to what he can do. And I told him when he was in there, I'm like, yo, be yourself. Whatever you need, if you see anything, just go up to him and tell him how you want to tell him. Don't change your language. Don't change who you are. Just do you. You inside. We inside, right? That's what I kept telling him. And I just feel like my agenda's different from telling Trump I want to design an airplane, or, you know, you going in and you trying to hide this and hide that. All I'm saying is, if you keep it real, if your agenda's real, and if your mission is to help, or is to do great by people in the culture, then I don't think people can say nothing. Like, that's why they didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I do think that people should let their people have their own political views.
Right.
I do believe that.
I agree.
Not my cup of tea, but
That wasn't your cup of tea?
I'm just saying your political views aren't really my cup of tea, but I would never judge you for that because you're allowed to have your own political views
No doubt.
as an American person.
You know what, Em? I think we need to talk more about my political views. I'll explain them more to you, like in detail. No, what I'm saying, so you would know, because that was just on the surface.
I'm just mad Ray J dyed his hair to match Amber's for today's conversation. Give him a round of applause for that. It's the coordination for me.
I mean, y'all, I have a white Republican father, so trust me, I have these conversations.
Let me ask all of you as we get out of here really quick. What advice?
We gotta go?
Bro,
Damn,
this should have been
I be coming on stuff and it'd be like 2 minutes.
We just got started. I wish we could go longer. Listen, the last thing I want to ask for everybody watching at home and everybody in the audience, what advice do you give to people to have the courage to live their truest, authentic self without being afraid of being canceled?
Probably what me and you talked about in the trailer is not really giving a fuck. Just staying true to who you are is the most important thing. It really is.
Ray?
I look at it like this: God is gonna make sure you straight. Like you gonna be straight.
Who did you? Who?
God. God.
No, I agree.
But what was the question? Because
What advice do you have for people watching at home and people in the audience who need to have the courage to be their authentic self without the fear of being canceled?
You gotta care, but you can't give a fuck at the same time. You gotta work real hard, harder than everybody else. You have the knowledge, you got the power, so you ain't gotta switch your language or how you move in meetings. Like, if you wanna smell like a little bud before you go into the meeting, because that's what you needed, and you had all the facts, you were prepared, you had the deck together, you had everything they needed, then you good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to sit up straight if you like to sit like this in a meeting. Find yourself in yourself, and when you pitching stuff and doing stuff, be yourself. Be yourself 1000%, and the shit start getting real fun. It starts getting real exciting, because now you in your bag, whether it's corporate, whether it's club, whether it's fun. Like, I'm having fun. I'm in pain right now. I'm hurting inside, but I'm still having fun. Like, so you gotta like balance it, because I'm messed up, but I'm still having the time of my life.
I love that. Amber?
I would say if you do say something out of turn and somebody goes in on you or the internet goes in on you, just be open to a conversation. And if you realize that you were wrong, it's okay to apologize. It doesn't mean that you're weak or you're stupid. Or I've done it so many times. I could look back on things and be like, why did I say that? Like, I would never say that now because I grew and I learned, you know? So yeah, I think if you're just open to have like constructive, mature conversations, that's all that matters. And again, just be yourself and live true to that.
Like, the other thing I'll say too is I look at all three people up here and myself is ownership is really the key to freedom. If you are a person with an idea, a business, of art, if it's product or music or whatever, all three people, including myself, we use the platforms given to us by mainstream and build businesses and brands and extensions of that. So now we make enough money to where if we don't get those opportunities, we're good. So please stay in control of your narrative by owning your shit.
I got a question for you. For you.
Yes.
Is it important, like, because in my businesses, like, I'm very like low key with like where I am with my numbers and shit, right? So I'm like, people still think I'm selling my products out the trunk, right? And I'm cool with that, because I will do that if I have to. But is it important for the world to see the numbers and the success in the numbers to make them listen more and want to know your experience more because you've made this amount or your company's done that or you've reached these higher heights? Is that important?
Catch-22.
Well, and I'll say this. I think people online, not everybody, but a lot of people online are stupid. And they need Forbes or Entrepreneur to tell you that's the thing because it's made so much money. When I went to your house and put Raycon in my ears, and literally on my show I use all this other, they're the best sounding earbuds that I've heard.
Buy Raycon.com.
I think that as people in the culture, black people, people of color, if you have melanin, period, we should be supporting, buying, pushing, promoting, and getting behind black, period. So that's what I feel. And look, so tonight we'll be at the Lanithia Lounge smoking hookah and getting drunk with Nene Leakes. I want to thank the people up.
Where y'all smoking hookah at?
Oh, we going to her lounge.
Yes.
Oh, hell
the
yeah.
The Lanithia Lounge, right in Duluth, Georgia. Please come on over. I'll take care of all of you guys with free shots.
Okay, let's go. Okay, look, real quick. See, the minute say you gonna get something for free, everybody like, let's go. Okay, look, I want to give a special shout out to Diddy, DeTavio, Keith, and all of Julian Mitchell and everybody at Revolt for having us, and give it up for the panelists up here talking about culture. And the beautiful
Thank y'all, thank y'all.
And the beautiful Nene Leakes.
I
Thank you, guys.
appreciate y'all.
Make sure you watch my social media this week.
sorry.
I'm going to be launching products and helping new entrepreneurs. So for those of you who are trying to be entrepreneurs, keep your eye on me. Keep your eye on me. Your eye on me.
And if you want to stay connected to all the shit being talked about on the internet, go to Hollywood Unlocked. Just don't cancel nobody.